You also want to remember that your turntable is your friend, so if you're putting in any sort of like one continuous line that has to go all the way around, as long as you keep your hand in this same exact spot and you just turn that turntable, you'll end up with a nice, clean, demarcated line. And now we go right back into our painting. So now we're going to go ahead and add BB-8's oculus, his little eyepieces. One of the things I should have mentioned, and I didn't, is of course black fondant. Now this is Fat Daddy-O's brand. You can use satin ice, whatever you have on hand, or you can make your own out of white. I like to have the pre-made on hand, keeps my hands from turning, you know, hot pink. We're not using any sort of pattern or anything. His oculus is rounded, which is kind of cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by, let me move him out of the way so you can see a little bit better. We're going to start by just rolling out a ball, and I think I'm going to kind of compare the size of the ball. That's a little big. I'm actually going to cut that right in half. And if you get a little bit of cornstarch on your table, what we're going to do, and this is kind of a little interesting, is we're going to roll it into a nice ball. And then what I want to do is I want to flatten it onto my counter. And I want it to come basically all the way down to make like a flat edge down at the bottom. And you can help that along by, if you pick it up and you kind of pinch that down with your finger. And then if you take your veining tool, you can see there's kind of an edge around the oculus. We're just going to go in with our veining tool and put that in ourselves. Just going to add a little bit of water to the back of our thing, and we're going to put his oculus right on there. Now you want to make sure it's not too wet because it'll slide right off. That looks right about perfect. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to make this littler one in the same way. Now on this second oculus there's a little bit of black around the edge as well. So we're going to place that on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll out a small, like, snake. If you want to get your fondant extruder or ribbon out cutter out for this, you can. It seems like a lot of work and extra tools when it's just a very small detail. But it's completely up to you. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing without my fingers being in the way. So I'm just going to sort of press that around. When I get to the bottom, join up there, and then I'm going to turn it so I can see just a little better, and I'm going to just use my craft knife to sort of adjust my shape, make sure it's nice and perfectly round. So now we're going to get ready to airbrush him and put on kind of the rest of his detail, including his antennas and the dirt around the bottom, and then we'll be ready to go. 15 gauge white paper wrapped wire. This is what I'm going to be using for BB-8's antennas. So the one antenna has a little black tip at the top. So if you remember any of the floral videos, what we're going to do is sort of twiddle. I'm just going to press that little piece of black fondant. And if you're finding you're having a hard time getting it to stick, you can just get it damp. You should be able to just get it right on the end there. And if you put a small dot of black on the top, where the antenna is going to be going through, it sort of completes the look of the antenna. The other antenna is just plain white, and it's a little further back, and it's a little shorter. There we go. So finally, how we're gonna do, we're gonna airbrush him real quick, just to put all that sort of antiquing on him, and then we'll get his dirt on him and he'll be done.